Read this book. That's Charles Eisenstein's book, The Yoga of Eating. It's not only about food, it is about just about everything that we can think of that could help us live a good life, even if the world is being turned into an AI dystopia and a temporary hell. Having said this, I'm not discounting all tradition. Far from it. There's wisdom in any tradition which a student of esoterics ought to know. I can listen to a Catholic exorcist and find wisdom, warning, truth, and even God in what he says. And this is a dark time we're living in, and demons are quote unquote real. But ultimately, they aren't. In the ultimate sense, they aren't, as any talk chain master will tell you. But they can do damage and have real effects if you are wounded, arrogant, or dumb enough to allow it or play with that nonsense. And if you know, you know. And if you don't, it's better to probably focus on something else and live a good life and focus on God and good deeds and prayer and attaining virtue and dropping vices, any good exorcist will also tell you. So there are infinite ways in which we can find wisdom. And there are infinite ways in which we can grow and wax and expand consciousness. But back to the gentle genius Charles. Most of what we have deemed spiritual these days is an attempt to escape the very earth beneath our feet. And all that we have tried our best to deem pure is an escape from the fact that we have bodies and they do certain things. And as Charles put it, the body is not the house of the soul, the body is the soul. My paraphrase of his words. And why shaman I've not heard in years told me the same thing years or maybe a decade ago. It made total sense. She also saved my life. God bless her. And I think Starhawk is right. And most of what she does and her wisdom is to be appreciated, even if we may disagree on some ways of how to achieve New Earth that's currently being birthed underneath our feet. Always listen to wise grandmothers. They know more than you and I can possibly think. So go and read Charles and learn how to eat and how to breathe and how to think about the world in a sacred way and make sure sacredness becomes something you embody, not something you pontificate on, like I'm doing right now. For even if, God forbid, we're all dragged into World War III and not much is left to what we'd call civilization, we might end up by the fire eating rabbits or carrots or both in a stew. And it might not be so bad. Excuse me. As another wise man said, and it rang true to me. Or at least we will do our best to make it better. But the truth is, God knows what you truly require. And it's up to you to state what you truly desire. Desire is not evil or wrong or unspiritual or any of that nonsense, as any tantric will tell you if you're willing to listen. But it does bring up many things, and it burns like a raging fire. And if you're not stable enough to guide it, direct the energy, and observe the maelstrom of fantasy, lust, and primal instincts, then can get triggered, you're in for a wild ride. And desire is neutral, and it just might burn through your system and leave you like a cabbage or a carrot. Thus, the wise warning of enlightened masters are: Tantra is not a path for the uninitiated, and is not to be attempted without proper guidance. People speak of Kundalini like it's a sweet koala to be petted, when it's a wild horde horse and alligator that might give you bliss and ecstasy, but also throw you into madness. Has been made into a product and is being sold to the highest bidder with the lowest moral coefficient. And we are living with the Western spiritual wasteland of the consequences of the karma of immaturity, spiritual ego, and messing with forces of creation with no proper respect and humility. And I know what I'm speaking of. I've had the unfortunate blessing of learning what happens when you attempt to do that, not even out of malice, but from a childish ignorance and lack of wisdom. I would not recommend it to anyone. Ever. Never, ever, ever, never. Just fucking don't. Really. So, what's the point of this smorgasbord of everything and nothing all at once? It's the awareness that existence truly is one and does not need to be improved on. But you and I, as figments of God's imagination, are not perfect as we are. As the Hermetic teacher David Lanyan is teaching us. So the only way to truly be able to take in wisdom is through paradox. We are at the same time perfect in ourselves, manifesting through imperfection, and we are mere humans. And our negative ego nuffs and immaturity are doing their very best to prevent us from ever reaching the heights we so desperately desire. And even that desire is a problem in itself, but that is a matter for another time. But before you and me and all of us can deal with our basic childish immaturity and find a way to make life work for us, whatever realization we may claim, or even to actually touch upon, is mere fantasy, an ungrounded delusion that serves nothing and no one. And may another David the White guide us to a proper start of the path. Here we go. Start close in. Start close in. Do not make the second step or the third. Start with the very first thing close in, the step you don't want to take. Start with the ground you know, the pale ground beneath your feet. Your own way to begin the conversation. Start with your own question. Give up on other people's questions. Don't let them smother something simple. To hear another's voice, follow your own voice. Wait until the voice becomes an intimate private ear that can really listen. Start right now. Take a small step. Don't follow someone else's heroics. Be humble and focus. Start close in. Do not mistake for your own. Start close in. Don't make the second step or the third. Start close in. Step you don't want to take. David White, Essentials. P.S. This poem is a good starting point. All else written before this are but mad ravings of a bard trying to make sense of the world and himself and the modern spiritual wasteland, and should be taken merely and purely for its entertainment value. Bless you, and find your own way to start a conversation. Bye bye.